Hey guys, Ponce here on the PvE, here to talk to you guys about the Kindred buffs on the PvE currently, at least on the surface anyway. That's actually just sort of masking a general kind of larger topic that I've wanted to talk about for a while now. Sort of one of the weaknesses I feel League of Legends has had for quite some time. But in any case, let's get the Kindred buffs out of the way so we have sort of a frame of reference. So yeah, Kindred, the stacks needed after your initial 4 to get the range increase has been lowered to 3, at least on the PvE. So that means you still, to get the initial 75 range increase, you still need the 4 stacks, but all stack sets that get you a 25 range increase thereafter, you'll need 3 per. So it goes 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, etc., etc. So little buff there. In addition to that, the Wolf's Frenzy, that's been essentially the bonus you get from your hunt stacks. That's been doubled from 0.5 to 1%. So pretty significant. And the damage increase, or rather the E ability, that's had a damage increase, the base damage. That's gone up from, as you can see, 20 per rank. So it used to start at 40, go up to 120. Now starts at 60, goes up to 140. So in terms of this buff specifically, it makes sense to me. I played around with Kindred a little bit. You know, I'm no Kindred master since it's been a really long time since I've actively played her. But she seemed pretty underwhelming. So, I mean, there's another reason for that, which we'll get into in a minute here. But the buffs make sense to me. Like, she didn't seem all that great with them since her kind of rework thing some weeks back. Now, in terms of what I want to talk about earlier, I don't like the trend of how they rework Kindred. I feel she lost a lot of flavor. She at least had something kind of more of a unique build. Like, she was kind of the go-to attack speed shred type. Not even an AD carry, like a jungle AD carry thing. There's a lot of interesting things going on with her insofar as, you know, League of Legends goes and how interesting champions can get in this game. And I think they just kind of homogenized her a lot with the way they changed her, which probably makes it easier to balance, but again, at the same time, it just makes everything feel a bit more bland. Now she's just kind of like, she resembles the normal AD carries a lot more. They just stack a lot of damage, you know, there's an infinity edge in there somewhere maybe, and I don't find it all that interesting. At least before, it was somewhat unique in that sense. And that kind of also in turn leads into this general thing I feel with League of Legends, a bit of a problem with the game, is it only has like surface champion variety. Like, when you get down to it, a lot of the champions, and I'm not, you know, raising any new issues here, people have spoken about this for years now, but there's really kind of a lack of diversity in very interesting and unique playstyles. Like, it feels like League of Legends has, or Riot Games or whatever, have this sort of factory mold set up for champions, and you take, you know, cube A and sphere B, and then you take, you know, triangle D from over on this champion. You kind of mash them all together, and it feels sort of new, and maybe there's something very, very slightly new that they kind of throw in with any kind of champion or rework. But in the end, you know, it's a lot of what we've already seen before. And I can understand why they do that, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I thought it would, you know, bears mentioning, or I should at least speak about Heroes of the Storm right now a little bit, because I really actually do enjoy their sort of, or that game's approach to this sort of thing, where there are just stuff that's completely different, that has nothing to do with the rest of the game, and it provides, you know, even if people don't, you know, play them very much or whatever, at least there is this option of a very strange and weird niche playstyle, or kit, or, you know, whatever. For people to want to, you know, if they want to check it out, they can. And for example, like Cho'Gall is really cool. I like the idea behind that. That's really unique with 2 players and a single character. There's of course that whole Abathur playstyle thing, and then there's Lost Vikings, Murky to an extent. And so I don't know, I feel like there's all kinds of crazy, wacky, really interesting stuff. And even if I don't personally play a lot of those, for example, I've never played Abathur ever, and I may or may not at some point, but I appreciate that that playstyle exists. For example, I play Cho'Gall. I really think that's really cool, or I have played in the past. So the fact that there's that option there, and you can encounter it in game, I really respect that game for that aspect of it. And I wish League of Legends would do stuff like that more. Just introduce something really wacky, even if it's hard to balance, you know, just do a bit of work. You know, I'm implying they're lazy or something, but they're not. I'm sure they're all hard at work. But, you know, even if it's difficult to balance and fit into a game that's very designed from this a very kind of tight balance perspective, even if you could sometimes argue the balance is not the greatest. But, you know, overall the balance in League of Legends is pretty decent. And I think that's almost this overriding concern. It's just like they're scared of throwing things out of whack too much. And, I mean, from a business perspective, I suppose it would be. It makes sense. I mean, Riot, they're the, you know, they're the big dogs. They're the bullies on the block. They can, you know, they're the big guys out there, so they don't need to really take risks. And from that perspective, again, it does make sense. You know, people are apparently, you know, or rather, you know, millions of people out there are content with this, what I find a little bit dry. So at that point, you know, when you're ahead, why risk anything? It's like, I don't know, going for Baron when you have a insurmountable lead kind of thing. But at the same time, you know, you stagnate a bit too much. You know, you drag the game out too long and don't take any risks at all. Eventually, the enemy team, maybe they, you know, they get caught up in farm or something. So, I don't know. We'll see how this all turns out. But I suppose the what it really boils down to is I really just wish League would do something a bit more interesting. And I'm not happy with, for example, the trend of like Kindred and stuff, where they. I thought Kindred was, as far as League of Legends goes, relatively unique, and I feel the new one is pretty homogenized. I don't find it interesting at all. I suppose on that note, I do like the vague direction they kind of went in with the Xayah and Rakan idea. I mean, it was like, I guess it was like Cho'Gall super light, you know, like Cho'Gall without any of the weird design risks or anything. So I don't know if they could continue that on like further and just like take it 6 steps, you know, further down the line. I'd be pretty happy. But anyway, that's it from now. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm off to go stream probably some League of Legends if you have to catch in this video as soon as I upload it. But yeah, goodbye. Look forward to seeing you on twitch.tv/Ponce.